Hi, friends. This is Jonah. You're listening to Chika with your tita, your conversations with your cool titas about love, sex, relationships, and things you like to know but are shy to ask. So as you can see, hindi ako yung tita sa podcast na to. Halata naman, no? I'm just a conduit for every young person who will like to know more about, relationships, sex, and sexuality. And ito kasi yung mga hindi natin nasasabi, no? Upfront to our mothers, to our titas, even to our lolos and lolas. One of the articles actually that I read is what would uh what would I hope that my mother told me about men, about sex, and that really resonated to me, no? Kaya naman, for our pilot episode, we'll be having Ana Santos, your everybody's tita, your cool tita, founder of Sex and Sensibilities. Let's welcome her to the show. Hi, Ana.
Hi, Jonah!
Hi,
Kamusta?
Ana. Well, eto naman, okay na okay. And thank you, no, for giving me the chance to take over Sex and Sensibilities during this podcast.
Happy to do it. Happy to have this podcast takeover.
So, I believe you're overseas right now. So, nasan ka ba, Ana, ngayon?
Yeah, nasa London ako ngayon kasalukuyan na nag-graduate program sa London School of Economics where I'm studying gender and sexuality. So,
Wow.
pinanindigan ko na talaga yung usapang sex, usapang gender equality. Pinanindigan ko na talaga. At the end of 1 year, may master's degree na dapat ako dito.
And it's really timely, no? And we're really glad na ikaw yung unang-unang guest ng Sex and Sensibilities.
I'm really happy rin at gusto ko rin ng ganitong mga conversations na, let's talk about sex and from the youth perspective, what the young people want to know when it comes to having sex and how can the more mature titas come into this conversation. Hindi para mangaral, maliwanag tayo, wala tayo sa ganon. Hindi tayo mangangaral, mag-uusap tayo. Kasi we can learn a lot from what we both want to know when it comes to topics
Totoo.
like sex and relationships and love, especially ngayong panahon ng COVID. At saka natutuwa ako na naalala mo yung things I wish my mother had told me about men and sex. Sobrang minsan pinopost ulit yun ng Rappler tapos lagi na share. So, nakaka-resonate pala talaga yung mga
Yeah.
ganon.
Lalo na yung article mo na yun, it's something that we as young women would love to hear from our moms talaga. And ito, siguro sobrang helpful niya for us, no? And coming from someone who also think that way, but from a different generation, no? Bakit mo nga ba sinimulan tong Chika with your tita with Sex and Sensibilities? And I'm actually taking over this podcast, no? So
Oo,
what's
ano na siya, para na ako nagha-handover muna ng baton kasi
kaya nga eh.
meron tayong podcast takeover. I'm really glad that young people are taking over this conversation, not just on sex and sensibilities, but also claiming their space in speaking about reproductive health, sexual health rights, and reproductive justice. So magkakaiba yun pero magkakarugtong ng mga issues. And young people are at the forefront of this. And for a long time, parang yung mga may gumagawa lang ng research or yung may access sa research, yung mga nagsasalita sa mga forums or conferences. But we're always speaking for young people. Hindi dapat ganon. Young people have the agency to speak for themselves and we need to give them that space. So doon naman ako natutuwa with us when we have these
Totoo.
intergenerational conversations kasi naintindihan ko rin sa culture natin, ang hirap minsan, feeling ko Jonah, correct me if I'm wrong, para
Yeah,
nakikiramdam
sure.
yung mga younger people na pwede ba, yung when I'm on a panel with the younger people, feeling ko nakikiramdam sila na pwede ba magsalita or baka maging mukha kaming disrespectful kung magsalita kami or mag-air kami ng opinions namin. But we can't have that. I mean, dialogue, discourse, it's what progress is made of, di ba? And
Totoo.
if we
And
want to move towards that path of gender
mm.
equality, I learned so much from you young people. Nanggaling naman ang mga Me Too movement sa mga younger generation, di ba? Kami naalala ko pa yung time na parang
Mm.
natatakot ako na magsalita masyado or to assert too much. because I felt that the freedoms that my mother didn't have had just been passed on to my generation. And I was very scared to push too much.
Yeah.
Kasi baka mamaya biglang bawiin yung mga newfound freedoms and liberties namin. So from the young people, nakukuha ko talaga na, teka lang, this is not acceptable. And from the get-go, this is how we can say that it's not acceptable. Sobra akong nabubuhayan ng loob sa assertion, sa courage ng young people. Kaya gusto ko yung ganitong conversations. There's so much to learn from young people as well.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. No, I mean, you're one of the very. I mean, there's a lot of older, like older people who's really seeing us, no, na who's really acknowledging, no, yung young people, and we got to give credit then to you guys, kasi kung hindi dahil din sa inyo, no, we won't get this, this freedom and the assertion that we're claiming right now. Kaya naman, how do you think? I mean, what's really the importance of having, this is, when we talk about even before Anna, we don't call this like a mentor-mentee relationship. No, it's really a friendship. Bakit kaya? I mean, for you, what's really the importance of it more than, seeing young people as someone who's advocating for this?
I think yung importance din is seeing each other as equals. Kasi
Yeah.
yung kung meron tayong madalas mas napapansin natin yung older people will look down on younger people and say wala naman alam yan, batang-bata pa yan. Hey, the same thing is true for us. You can say the same thing about us. Wala nang alam yan, gurangish na yan, Jurassic na yan, di ba? So, that doesn't help in terms of creating a space where we can learn from each other. Kaya gusto ko yung aspect of it's a relationship of equals where we have things to learn from each other. And ang nafe-feel ko talaga sa totoo lang, I feel, I don't know, more courageous because of the young people who say that, oh, pwede pala to. From the get-go, pwede palang hindi muna ako manahimik na hina-harass na ako or yung mga
Yeah.
microaggressions. The new terms that young people have brought
Yeah.
in, microaggressions,
Mm.
slut shaming, victim blaming, all those things I just accepted as parang,
Yeah.
sige, tahimik na lang para sa other way mo na lang i-assert yung position mo of feminism or gender equality. Ngayon, pwede pala, and it has to be this way, to be more forward also, more progressive. Kaya yun yung mga gustong-gusto ko mga ganitong discussions para nakakakuha ng point of view ng pareho. At saka yun na nga, hindi parang binavalue mo yung mabibigay ko sa table, yung contribution ko. At the same time, nabavalue ko rin din talaga yung point of view mo na bago, na technologically driven, na talagang wala na kaming hawak dyan, ha?
Well, sobrang daming ang bago at very trending na trending ngayon, no? And we really, I mean, sana maraming katulad mo, Ana, no, that's really seeing young people at the forefront. Kaya naman, for our topic for today, ano ba yung topic natin, Ana? And why is this very close to you, no? Yung topic natin for this pilot episode.
Ang pag-uusapan ba natin, lagi naman sex, di ba? Basta sex, relationships, I'm your girl, di ba?
Alam mo na, nang hingi kami ng questions. Kasi ito hindi lang ito manggagaling talaga sa akin at hindi lang manggagaling sa mga kasing edaran ko. Meron ding mas bata pa sa akin, no, who really wanted to know more about this, a very open discussion on sex. Kaya naman one of their questions was, how important po ba is sex in relationships? I mean, is it...
May po.
Ay, sorry
Chika with your tita na talaga. I love it.
Very chika with your tita.
Pero very respectful. I love it.
Well, may po talaga yung question niya. So.
I know your question, how important is sex in
relationships?
Well, sa una talaga pagbago yung relationship, talaga naman, I mean, let's keep it real, Jonah, diba? Talagang you can't keep your hands off each other. Diba? It gets really hot. And I think that's also a primary concern, or what's not a concern, but maybe it's a primary thing that makes you want to get involved with someone. It's how attracted you are to them. Okay. um, of course, there's lots of other ways, right? Maybe you came out as friends, for example. But I'm speaking about the swipe right, swipe left kind of way that we sometimes
Yeah.
meet up with other people and get dates. So sex is really important in terms of the first salvo or the start of the relationship. Um, that's one. I also think na it's one thing is it's a way to really connect with your
Yeah.
partner. Over time, when I mean I've been in longer relationships, sex is also important, but para siyang nagiging another way of sharing intimate moments or sharing your life with a person. What do I mean?
Mm-mm.
Over the course of your relationship with someone, marami kayong dadaanan, Jonah, right?
That's
Pwedeng
true.
yung, lalo na ngayong COVID, baka mamaya, you have depression,
Yeah.
anxiety, yung mga things na gano'n na pwede yung daanan together as a couple. Napaka-intimate din nun. So, parang when you go through life experiences with a partner,
Yeah.
parang marami nang nagiging ka-level yung sex in terms of intimacy, of sharing. Okay? So that's one. And then the other thing is, yung meron din talagang, I think, yung physiological aspect of wanting to have sex. We want to have sex because it's pleasurable.
Yeah.
Ay, we shouldn't ignore that. So, lagi pa rin nandun siya sa relationship. So, it is very important. Sorry, haba pala ng sagot ko, but
Ay,
it
go
is
lang.
important. Sex is important. Over the
Yeah.
course of your relationship, you will find other ways to build intimacy and connection with your partner that are the same level and may even exceed sex. But as a person, yan, lalo na kung very tactile person ka, at yung love language mo ay touch,
Yeah. Yun nga yung mga
napaka-importante
nararanasan
rin nun.
yun yung nararanasan ngayon ng maraming, young couples or at least someone even yung mga walang label but they think they're MU,
Mm.
mutual
Ginagamit pa
understanding.
pala yung term na yun,
Oo, meron
MU?
pa, nung
Wow!
ginagamit pa siya.
Timeless pala. Walang kupas ang MU.
Sobrang dumami yung meaning niyan. Actually, may mutual understanding, may isa naman mag-isa daw umiibig. I don't know if, well, ginagamit pa ng mga kasing edaran ko, no? But yeah, with this lockdown, no, ang daming concerns when it comes to physical. Paano kung yung love language ko ay physical touch, no? How do we cope with, especially during this lockdown? How do we cope nung bigla ang LDR kami ng jowa ko? And I remember nung Spilling the Tea, no?
Mm.
Series na we had also with Rappler, no? There are couples there who shared their stories. Pero ano yung mga nag-resonate sa'yo how to, cope during this lockdown? And this is something na hindi natin in-expect. It's something abrupt, no? Biglaan lang, and everyone is just coping with it. So, what do you think? I mean, it's
Yun
really
din
tough.
ba talaga yun ang concerns ng mga young people? Actually, mas ang concern ko nga rin is yung young
Mm.
people na hindi pwedeng lumabas, yung 21 and below, hindi pwedeng
Yeah.
lumabas. So para kang naka-cut off talaga sa mga support systems mo from schools or yung mga mentors or guidance counselors that you
Yeah.
trust in school. Parang
Mm-mm.
nawawala talaga yung ganong connection. Doon ako mas concerned. And I'm speaking not just as your tita to everyone out there, but also as a parent to a young person. Very concerning yun for me. Dun sa Spilling the Tea naman, natuwa ako dun sa parang we as humans we really find ways to connect with one
Yeah.
another. Kasi this pandemic has forced us to cut off parang
Face to
relationship
face.
face to
Yeah.
face. 'Di ba? So
Mm.
parang hahanapan mo ng way to still connect virtually. And I saw na yung ibang couples na nag-share na because you're forced to talk. 'Di ba? Kasi
Yeah.
virtual eh. You're forced to talk, you're forced to converse, you're so forced to get to know one another. Parang nag-reverse yung from, okay, swipe right, kita na tayo, and then whatever we decide for tonight until tomorrow morning. So parang space for getting to know each other. Maganda rin yun na meron kang space nga to get to know one another. Tapos naghahanapan sila ng ways of being creative lang talaga. I think sa
Totoo.
buhay, kailangan mo ng imagination. Naalala mo yung isa nating couple, ang sabi niya, um,
Mm.
nag-workout date daw sila.
Yeah, yung virtually, no? Zoom date. Zoom
Tapos
workout.
nag-workout.
Yeah.
Ang cute nun, di ba? So, akala ko, alam ko lang Netflix and chill, di ba? So,
Mm.
ayun, natuwa ako na may ganun talagang ways of finding um, connection still. I think lang yung napag-usapan din natin. And Jonah, we've had conversations like this. Paano
Yeah.
yung mga yung sabik ka, 'di ba? To
Mm.
move forward in your
Yeah.
relationship. Paano ba yung mga sexting? Paano ba
Yun
yun?
nga eh. I
Ay,
mean,
pwede ko bang i-share, Jonah? Pwede
go.
ba
I
akong
mean, share mo lang
mag-SKL?
everything. Yeah. Hashtag
Hashtag
SKL.
SKL. Sabi ng aking mother, out of the blue lang, sabi niya sa akin the other day, ano ba yung nababasa ko? Meron daw mga, nagsisex sa telephone. Pwede ba yun? Sabi ko, okay, explain natin kay mommy kung paano yun.
Pero I mean, this lockdown really saw, Ana, no, tumaas talaga daw yung number of, young people who's engaging with sexting kasi it's one of ways nga to bond with your partner without risking to meet halfway,
Mm.
no. So how do we ensure na it's still safe kasi, with a lot of social media, leaks, 'di ba? And dami lately din, no. So how do we ensure na we're safe doing this kinds of thing online?
Ang sexting naman, dati pa yan, wala pang COVID.
Ay,
So I'm
totoo
not
ba?
surprised na sinabi mo na,
Wow.
na lalong tumaas siya nung
Mm.
nagka-COVID tayo, di ba? At
So ito,
napilitan na ito lang yung
shared
mode of
experience din pala natin.
connection. Oo. So, so I like what we had in terms of, I think one of the couples also shared that with
Yeah,
in spilling the tea. I like it na, sorry kung lagi ko nire-reference yun, kasi maganda yung nanggaling din sa kanila na they
totoo.
said na hindi naman kailangan na normal or hindi basihan ng relationship natin or yung commitment natin sa isa't isa kung ayoko magpadala ng nude picture sa'yo or ng
Yeah.
nude selfie sa'yo. Ang ganda na may ganong
Mm.
space for each other to define yung relationship, di ba?
Yung
So,
limitations and boundaries, no?
yes,
Mm.
setting boundaries, respecting each other's comfort zones, and also yung how they made it work for them. Sabi nung isa was, yung gusto namin na pag nagkita na kami, nandun yung build-up of anticipation.
Yeah.
So that's how they made it work for them. I really like that part na very natural lang yung consent. Hindi
Mm.
yung insecure na nanganganib na, ay, hindi siya seryoso sa akin kasi ayaw niya magpadala ng nude pictures. On the technical side naman, turo sa atin ng young people kasi nga ang galing-galing yung technology. Yung favorite tip ko, pag magpapadala ka daw ng yung naked selfie or
Yeah.
something na sexting photo,
Mm.
whatever. Well, ang number one is don't show your face, di ba? But the other thing is, lagyan mo daw ng watermark na may tracking number.
Wow.
Di ba? Kunwari papadala ko kay Jonan. Ang watermark mo ay Jonah 001. Pero papadala ko sa isa
Barcode
pa.
pala.
QR code pwede.
QR code.
Pero ang ganda, diba? Tapos so, sa iba sa
Mm.
iba ko ipapadala, ang barcode naman niya ay kunwari, Joshua 002. So kung may nag-leak nun, at
Ma-track mo
meron
kaagad.
diba? Mas malipit pa sa Lozada tracking number.
Pero I mean, it's really a good thing, no? I mean, ito dito lumalabas yung creative juices din ng a lot of young people. Is, we acknowledge na it might be leaked or someone, kunwari nag-bake kayo ng jowa mo,
Mm-mm.
baka, kasi it's something na, it's really happening, no?
Mm-mm.
And how do we, I mean, this COVID, this uh, issues, no? Sobrang daming, eto, onti lang yung young people na nakakaalam ng mga ganitong ways to creatively uh, protect yourself. Paano, I mean, ano kaya yung, ano pa yung pwede nating makuha ang information online aside, especially not everyone is, yun nga, sabi mo nga, Ana, some are building anticipation, no? Hindi naman lahat ay very open to sending nudes and sexting with their partners. So ano pa kaya yung better ways to, engage with your partner at this time?
I think yung pinaka-importante ngayon is you really talk to each other.
Yeah.
And then I think that any relationship, maybe I'm old fashioned, but I think any relationship, the basis is really a friendship, right? A friendship where
Totoo.
you can speak to one another. Oh, related dun sa first question mo sa sex, pag medyo nag-wind down na yung sex drive niyo sa isa't isa and you can keep your hands off of each other na ng konti, it's really the friendship that will carry your relationship. So now let's take the time to cultivate yung friendships natin with our significant others. Gustong-gusto ko yung isang nabasa ko yata yun eh, parang you can love someone but not like them.
Yeah.
Is that, di
I
ba?
believe in that, yeah.
So wala ko, oo nga no, merong implications yun. You love someone but you don't like them. So siguro sa young people, like, and
Mm.
everybody who's listening, actually, alam mo, sa totoo lang, even among us titas who are, looking for relationships or in relationships and navigating this dating scene, this also applies, di ba? You
Yeah.
don't, you don't get over these questions about relationships the older that you get. Pero ang sa akin lang is, be with someone that you like to hang out with, that you like to talk to, not just someone that you love.
Yeah. Ana, I mean, nandun na tayo sa love, no? And I think isa dun sa mga issues ngayon din, not really in COVID and lockdown in general, but more of, sex and relationships in general. And one of the questions pa pala, nakalimutan ko, no, normal ba na mawalan daw ng interest sa sex kahit na ikaw ay nasa isang seryosong relasyon? I mean, yun, you have, you build the friendship, you've been with that person for a long time, but sometimes the sex drive is not there. So, normal daw ba yun?
Normal na normal yon kasi dami rin nating iniisip, right? And
Mm.
sex is not just a body interaction or a physical interaction between two people, di ba? It involves you getting into that headspace to concentrate, to be in that moment. It's also a lot of your feelings, right? A lot of your
Yeah.
feelings. Being naked in front of someone is really something that makes you very vulnerable to that person. So, normal na may other concerns ka that will take away from your sex drive. Minsan nga sa atin, so
Totoo.
when it's that time of the month at hormonal tayo, medyo ano na, right? Medyo nagkaka-difference na yung libido natin and sex interest. So that's really very normal. Yung, yeah, at times you want to have sex, sometimes it's not appealing to you, sometimes it's a chore. It's a feeling. Just like anything else, it's a feeling, I think.
Yeah, so I think that kailangan i-point out natin to a lot of young people kasi I've also heard some stories no na pinipilit sila nung partners nila even though they don't want, and then at the end of the day they would just say yes because they love the person so much that uh, okay lang sa kanila kahit personally ayaw nila. So we
At
really have to yeah, go.
ito I want to bring up yung mga iba natin discussions with other advocates na
Mm.
when we talk to young people and we ask them about their first sexual experience,
Yeah.
parang madalas ganyan yung mga sinasabi na
Mm.
pipilitan sila. And it's
Totoo.
a matter of concern kasi parang may borderline yun na were you coerced into this
Yeah.
first sexual encounter or yung were you just doubtful kasi meron ka pang mga hindi alam or unresolved issues within yourself. So that's a nasa minsan feeling nga namin parang sabi ko medyo ano to nag-border na siya sa rape already
Totoo.
kasi sa pag hindi kuha ng consent. I think when you decide or when you think about having sex, you need to have an honest conversation with yourself
Yeah.
about, first of all, what do you know about sex? Ano ba yung di mo pa alam? Alam ko ba na pwede ako mabuntis kahit first try? Or kahit sinukat lang po, ma'am? Di ba may ganon? Pinasok lang, hinugot ka agad. Nako te, pwede pa rin yan. Kasi hindi
Yeah.
naman siya nag-come inside, ma'am. Pwede pa rin yan. Kasi ang biological
Mm.
explanation is pre-ejaculation already contains semen, right? Which can get you
Yeah.
pregnant. So, may mga ganon. Una-una, what do you know about birth control? Diba? Pangalawa, do you know where you can get birth control?
That's
Do you
true.
know where you can get safe birth control
Mm.
from a person who can teach you how to use it in a trusted source na hindi judgmental. Okay? And third is yung emotional safe sex. Yung we talk about, it's less talked about, di ba? Yung safe sex for the heart. Kailangan pangalagaan mo pa rin yung heart mo, bes. Di ba parang, yung, napag-usapan natin to minsan, Jonah, na
Mm.
pag may relationship na bago, tapos bago pa lang, medyo nangangapa pa kayo, minsan feeling mo, pag nag-sex kayo, you're so attached. Yung baka naging clingy na ako. Or ano na ba itong relationship namin? Hindi lang yan nangyayari when you're 22. Kahit age ko, minsan ganun pa rin. So, be sure that you know where you are, yung ikaw, sa sarili mo.
Yeah.
What are you ready for and what are you afraid of? And are you just doing this to keep this person in your life or to keep them interested? The best relationship that you can work on, the best love affair is the one that you have with yourself. So it's not this person. When you think about the decision to decide to become intimate with someone, make sure it's a decision you're comfortable with. Not just when it comes to taking care of your body, but
Yeah.
also your heart. How are you going to feel about
Mm.
yourself after?
Yeah, may question pa rin na it's really important ba daw to be a virgin at this time of at this time of, you know,
At this time, December, October, COVID,
October.
or 2020?
Yeah, it's sabi nga ng ating friend na si Nadine Lustre, no? It's come on guys, it's 2020. So usapan pa rin ba yan? Usapin pa rin ba yung virginity, Ana? I mean, is still that important? Should it be important?
Natatanong pa rin ako
Mm.
pag panel ako sa mga youth sessions, tinatanong pa
Yeah.
rin ako, is it very important? First of all, let's get this out of the way. You know, virginity is a very personal choice and it should not ever be a mark of someone's character. Or
Thank
it's
you.
not something to judge someone na wala
Yeah.
siyang moral compass or wala siyang kalidad na characters because hindi na siya virgin. So let's please get that out of the way. Virginity and the status of your hymen is in no way a judge of who someone is and what their character is.
Yeah.
But having said that, you know, virginity or the decision to lose it, I think is a very personal choice. And Jonah, you remember yung mga firsts mo, right? Lahat ng first mo siguro natatandaan
Yeah.
mo.
Of
First
course.
roller coaster ride, first day of school, kung ano man yun, di ba, natatandaan mo siya. Yung mga
Yeah.
susunod, medyo hindi na. Pero yung first ng anything, lagi mong naaalala. So that's what I always say, you know, choosing to lose your virginity is choosing to have sex for the very first time. And this is a time that you will always remember because it's a first. So choose to gift yourself with a memory that you can look back
Wow.
on. Now, this is a person who cherished you, who, when they saw you naked for the first time, maybe it was your first time to also be naked in front of someone, said, wow.
Thank you,
Someone,
Ana, no?
di ba? Parang ganun
Yeah.
lang. Ganun lang yung, para pag nabalikan mo siya, maisipan mo na this is a person, when I chose to be with someone, be intimate with someone, it was someone who made me feel. It was a time when I was made to feel valued.
Yeah,
And
and
this is
special.
that.
Yeah.
And special.
And I think ito yung sobrang thank you, Ana, no? A lot of young women really wanted to hear that, no? Hindi yung judgment agad yung napapasok sa kanila. And I think, you know, when we talk about virginity, dito rin pumapasok na may premarital sex pa ba? I mean, uh, ang tawag dito, is it is it a sin daw if we engage with premarital sex? Kasi sometimes our firsts are not really after marriage, no? Our first
Mm.
might be, you know, your first jowa or your first ka-MU. So,
Ang dami kong gustong sabihin sa premarital sex na
ayan.
term, pero ilarawan muna natin sa, I think, you know,
Mm.
not everybody wants to get married. I think that's also been established as part of the
Yeah.
current conversation. Not everybody wants to get married. Not everyone can get married. So ako kinokontest ko na nga yung term na premarital sex. Ano sabi ni Woody Allen? It's not premarital sex if you never want to get married or you don't intend to marry that person. So I think yung concept na yan, pero respetuhin pa rin na, kailangan din naman natin respetuhin yung mga others na may whose belief of what is right or wrong or morally acceptable comes from their deep religious beliefs.
Yeah.
Diba? So, I think yung sasagutin ko na lang dyan is, I think that will go back to what you believe in, religiously, philosophically, personally, spiritually. Pero ang sa akin, I don't even consider that term na nga na premarital sex. Marami nang ayaw magpakasal, lalo na walang divorce, di
Totoo.
ba? Ang hirap ngayon sa Pilipinas, walang divorce po. Pang-isipan mabuti. Once, twice, three times, mahal po magpaanal.
I mean, Ana, yun nga eh. I mean, dapat ito ay sarili natin na belief. Pero some people would impose that belief to us, no? Kaya,
Yes.
for
Yung
example, first,
families natin,
I mean, like, how do we talk to our parents when they say na bawal pa yan or it's a hush-hush conversation, no? Na hindi, don't engage to premarital sex. It's isa sa mga, ano yan, masamang kasalanan, no? So, how do we work on that?
mahirap magpalaki ng magulang. O, alam ko, di ba? I think I think yung the same way that when I'm asked how to talk to my child about
Yeah.
sex and conversations, and
Mm.
napaulit-ulit din natin to narinig dun sa mga other conversations natin on spilling the tea. It's never just a one-time conversation. If you
Yeah.
want to start engaging people and thinking about changing their perception on certain things, or even just widening their understanding, no? Para hindi binary na premarital sex is good and bad, ganun lang.
Mm.
We have to keep on having small conversations where we start inputting or adding new points
Yeah.
of view. For example, nanonood kayong TV. Ito si Nadine Lustre, di ba? Oh, ma, tingnan mo to. Si Nadine Lustre. Live-in na sila ng jowa niya. Kasi ganito. Ganyan. So then keep on having conversations like this. And I also think,
Yeah.
lalo na in the families that we have, siguro, Jonah, ikaw, meron ka rin mga relatives who are single parents or who
Yeah.
are teen mothers. Ako din, di ba? So,
Mm.
sobrang yung common problem natin, meron tayong ganun. Within our families, dapat meron din tayong way of challenging and pushing back the older relatives na, oh, si ganyan, nabuntis nga eh. Tapos ang dami nang sasabihin. Ang dami nang sasabihin,
Totoo.
wala na yan, wala na mapapagkasal dyan, wala na manligaw dyan kasi damaged goods na siya. Challenge
Yun
natin
nga
ngayon
eh.
kaagad.
Mm.
Dapat.
I mean, ang dami pa ring notion, no, with virginity and premarital sex na, no, like, ginagamit, I mean, ang dami ko pa narinig ngayon na laspag ka na or whatever. Kahit isang beses mo lang naman ginawa and then a lot of people are judging you. Actually, I remember, no, personal experience, #SKL. So, so nagkwentuhan kami ng friends ko and then, alam mo ba, Ana, yung rice purity test? So, it's like 100 questionnaire,
Oh, dami.
100 item questionnaire, no? Na parang it lists down yung iba't ibang sexual experiences mo. So, pag mas
Mm.
mababa yung score mo, ibig sabihin mas marami ka ng experience. So, yung score ko, divulge natin, around 50s, no? But yung friend ko na to, around 80 yung score niya. So, na-feel ko, sometimes even with peers, na-judge ako, no? Na-judge ako na dahil mas sexually active ako compared to her. So how do we, even our peers, no, may judgment, may shame. So how do we, how do we navigate even to our peers?
I think first of all, yung kailangan natin intindihin is we all have different lives, right? And this is something that hindi agad rin mababago. Pero we all have different lives, we all have different experiences. Tapos yung what's good for you or what you decide is good for yourself may not be what I want for myself. And that's okay.
Yes.
Kunwari, Jonah, ako, I want to experiment now with polyamory, for example.
Yeah.
Tapos hindi ka sang-ayon nun. You don't have to like polyamory or agree with it, but you can just choose to understand me and my choice or my decision to explore in it. I think, start tayo sa ganun. Hindi porket hindi mo gagawin yun yourself, it doesn't mean that it's bad when another person does it kasi sila naman yung may buhay nun. Diba? ipasok din na boundaries din sa friendship, I think.
Totoo. Mm.
Your concern for your friends, and your concern or your fear for them about decisions that you feel that they're making, that has a line too.
Yeah.
Diba? May boundary din yun. And that line is when, you start to judge, or when you start to impose your own beliefs and morals on another person.
Thank you, Anna. No, I mean, it's something that we wanted to hear from, from our aunties, titas. No, there's someone's very open to tackle this, and to just if you want to sum up no about sex and relationships during this lockdown and in general, parang how do we need as young people no how can we um level up the discussion with our families, with our friends, with our titos and titas, no?
Well, I think na tama yung concern talaga now is because of COVID, our young people are locked down
Yeah.
and are also cut off from other sources of information. Lalo na yung usap-usapan among friends, di ba? Yung peer support groups. So, I think na kailangan talaga mag-initiate ng other conversations like this. And I'm really glad for this opportunity. Now, what can we do? First, I think, lalo na kung may mga parents na nakikinig, our kids
Mhm.
want to talk to us. Our kids want to, lalo na cut off sila sa mga friends ngayon at walang school. Or maybe you're a tita, maybe you're an older cousin. We all have, the Filipino family, we all have a younger person that we're very fond of and consider to be very beloved to us.
Yeah.
Be that adult that you wanted to have. Nabasa ko yun na parang I wish, be the adult that you wish you had
You
when you
were.
were growing up.
Yeah.
So yun lang yung guideline sa parents or the older people out there who are caring for a younger person who may be very lost right now or very confused by everything that's happening. Kahit nga tayo matatanda confused, aminin na natin. So, be the adult that you wish
Totoo.
you had when you were growing up. Di ba winish naman natin na we had someone who would just listen,
Yeah.
who wouldn't be judgmental.
Mm.
At a note on being judgmental, yung judgmental pala ay hindi lang sa pagbitaw ng salita, sa mga actions din yan. So,
Oh,
i-practice nyo na yung mga
yeah.
poker face nyo, ha? Pag merong
Mm.
biglang secret na nilabas sa iyo yung younger person in your
Paano
life.
dapat, Ana?
Ganun lang. Practice mo yung poker mo. Wag daw yung mga ganyan-ganyan. Wag
Yeah.
daw. Kasi that already precludes judgment, and it already
Mhm.
sends a signal that this is something that you shouldn't talk about.
Yeah.
So yun. And then secondly is to keep on having these conversations. Unti-unti, bite-sized pieces. Let's
That's
keep
true.
on having these conversations. And also look for other places where you can find help. Ang maganda naman ngayon, yung other organizations are really stepping up with
Yeah.
digital platforms. At doon naman talaga digital natives na ang mga young people. So it's
I mean,
innate
Ana,
to reach out.
and
At lalo
siguro,
na ngayon, Jonas, sorry, but before lang we leave that, bago ko
mm,
makalimutan, kasi lalo na ngayon panahon ng COVID, ang dami ko nababasa na this pandemic is setting back so many
that's true.
points of progress,
Yeah.
not just on the gender equality plane, but also on the poverty alleviation
Yeah.
gains, diba? Ang
Mm.
dami niyang sineset back. So we really have to be vigilant about how we can protect these certain rights. Ito
Yeah.
very important sa atin yung kung pag-usapan natin yung issue natin since we're talking about sex under lockdown, we will have a lot of young people cut off from reproductive health information and services.
Services. Yeah.
Kaya importante mag-reach out dun sa mga groups na may digital platforms for information and services pa din. Tanong lang ng tanong, Bes. Okay na nga ngayon, but you can just slip into their DMs, di ba? Di mo na kailangan pumunta sa clinic. Slip into their DMs.
That's true. I mean, like, sobrang happy ako na ang dami talaga mga health providers who's very willing to listen. Yun yung kailangan na kailangan. And confidential nga itong mga services. So, hindi naman kailangan malaman
Yes.
ni mama at ni papa kung
Correct.
hindi, di ba? Kung kung takot kang pag-usapan sa bahay. I've heard that you also had like other initiatives, no, online, no, especially ngayong COVID, lahat ng information are online. So where can we get this information?
Yung mga friends natin sa Likaan Center for Women's Health,
Yeah.
super love na love ko yung mga yan. Kasi talagang lahat ng pwede mo itanong sa friends natin sa Likaan Center for Women's Health. No judgment, no kind of any condemnation. Talagang honest, truthful information lang. You can message them on Facebook on the Likaan Center for Women's Health. And specific for young people, meron silang chatbot na si Kai, na non-binary.
Yeah.
Tuwan-tuwa ako. Yung pati yung chatbot nila non-binary. Hindi siya he or she. They siya, non-binary siya. So kung meron din boys dyan who are listening, boys or those who identify as boys, or those who identify as masculine. Tama ba ang mga terms ko, Jonah?
Tamang-tama, Ana.
Pwede rin kayo magtanong kay Kai.
Yeah, thank you for that, Ana. So, before we end, no? I mean, meron lang ako mga small-ish na games for you. So,
games na kaagad? Okay, go!
No? So, meron akong Tita Fast Talk for you. No?
Uy, teka. Parang nag-sit up straight ako noon. Okay, go! Tita Fast Talk.
Sige, so, lights on or lights off?
Off.
Describe
Pero dim light, yellow.
Wow, very specific. Describe your true love in 3 words.
Equal, sexy, and
one more.
Smart.
Wow. When was your first kiss?
In the shower.
Oh. gusto ko pang sana mag-deep dive sa kwento niyan. Pero wala na tayong time. Describe your first sexual experience in 1 sentence naman.
Uncertain. Parang hindi ko alam kung yun na ba yun? Hindi na ba ako virgin after that? Yun na naalala ko na malaki-laking question mark pa rin sa head ko after that first encounter. Kasi hindi ko nga alam kung ano yung feeling pala nun.
Tuloy napaisip din ako. Parang, uncertain din ako with my first.
Oo, yun yung sa body. So, kung na-check, pwede ko na ibang i-check off to.
Okay, lastly, no, what would you tell your 18-year-old self, no, if she's listening right now and with this podcast, no?
Wow. About sex and relationships?
Yeah.
Hey, Anna, 18, it's not a good time. You're pimply and poor and very uncertain and insecure about who you're going to be in life. And a lot of the time, because you're so insecure about what you can do and who you want to be, you're going to make bad decisions, or you're going to look for that validation in other people, in other relationships, in other men. So I would say just, keep track. Keep in mind that the most important relationship you're going to have is with yourself. The validation that you need, that you feel that you need for all your dreams, it's going to come from you. It's not going to be easy. There are going to be times that you're going to fail and you're not going to get it right the first time. But that's okay. Just keep on going at it, and you'll find that when you feel good about yourself and you feel certain about what you want to achieve, you're going to make better informed decisions about your body, about the relationships that you're going to engage in or choose to be part of, and the kind of sex that you're going to want to have.
Wow. That's resonating, no? I mean, even for 8, nag-goosebumps ako doon.
Even yun pa rin ang sinasabi ko sa sarili ko, by the way, hanggang ngayon. Pwede ko i-replay yan pag medyo may duda-duda na naman ako sa sarili ko, pwede ko i-replay yan for myself right now.
I mean, that really resonates, no, for a lot of 18-year-olds. And even 22-year-olds like me, no, it's something that we want to always listen to. And thank you, Anna. Thank you for sharing all of your insights, your experiences. And we hope, no, na a lot of titas, a lot of mothers and lolas, no, would really be this open and this understanding of our, sexual preferences, of our sexuality, of our experiences. And I think this is what Chika with her tita would want to see in the in the near future. And this is what I would want to be if I'm a tita na in the future. No? Kaya naman, thank you so much, Anna. So yeah, Anna, how can we, what if I'm a young person and wanted someone to talk to, no? Especially at this COVID time, sobrang hirap makahanap ng someone who can listen to me. So how can we connect with you?
You can connect with me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at I am Anna Santos, and I'm
Yeah.
also on Facebook at Anna P. Period. P is my middle initial. Anna P. Period Santos. That's the page for my journalism work, and that's also where I'll be posting a lot of my readings, my insights, my learning here at the London School of Economics, where I'm studying gender and sexuality. Gustong-gusto ko rin siyang i-share kasi ang dami kong readings ngayon, medyo tambak. Pero ang dami kong readings ngayon na gusto kong i-share kasi yung feeling ko, gusto ko lang din may ka-discuss na other feminists of color like me para mapag-usapan yung
Yeah.
mga ganitong other ways of thinking and other points of view. So I'll be sharing that on those two platforms.
Yes, so you can get in touch with Anna on I am Anna Santos sa Twitter and on Facebook. So kaya naman, thank you again, Anna, no, for having the time and for initiating Sex and Sensibilities. Thank you for tuning in to Chika with your tita, a sex and sensibilities podcast putting the sass into sexual health awareness and informed choice. You can watch us on live stream via Facebook and YouTube at sexandsensibilities.com. And you can listen to us on Spotify and Anchor FM at Chika with your tita. Thank you guys and see you on the next episode.